I just started.
Okay, we are here in the church of Archangel Gavriil, what, right? The Archangel of Gabriel and Michael.
Yes.
And we just had the luck, I had the luck at least to sing a little bit on the klirus. How do you say klirus in English? I have no clue. But next to me was another person who is... tell us how you turned into... He's an Orthodox... He also sings. Thanks God. Tell us how you turned to Orthodox Christianity.
That's a very long story.
Keep it short.
I was, as a child, both my parents were very Catholic believers. I was baptized a Catholic, but then probably because my father left the church, became a Freemason, I became indifferent to faith and to God myself in my teenage years. And I became basically a godhater. I became a very cynical person. Similar, I think, in makeup to, for instance, Muslims or even the staunch Dutch Protestants. They tend to be both very angry and very sad people, and that was my condition too. And then I started university, I studied languages, and I wanted to study new Greek language too. So I got a scholarship to study Greek
in Greece.
In Greece, and at the end of my stay, my 1 year stay, I decided to visit the holy mountain, Mount Athos, together with a Japanese Buddhist. So me, basically a non-religious person, and a Japanese Buddhist. We went to the holy mountain. Initially we planned to stay only for 4 days, but we prolonged our stay. We stayed more than a week, and we visited almost half of the monasteries, one of which, I think it was Philotheu, had just received a new crew, as they say. The abbot was very young, 25 years, I think, and all of the monks were very young and enthusiastic and very spiritual. And the abbot kept us for half a day. And at the end of the conversation, he said to us, the fact that you came here is no coincidence.
It's usually
no coincidence. So think, the Holy Spirit will work, will function in your soul. You have been touched by the Holy Spirit. So think. And I was very stubborn. I was very cynical. I was both angry and sad. I was cynical. But the Holy Spirit did his job. And after I divorced, I knew that I had to change as a person. So I started to go to Mount Athos with my very best Greek friend, who later became my anadogos.
What is this in English?
I don't know in English.
In French?
Le parrain.
In Dutch?
Peetvader. The one that is your
stepfather.
Yeah.
Stepfather. Stepfather, yes.
Yeah.
You know, baptizer.
Baptizer,
yes.
Yeah. One that, so we together...
Godfather.
Godfather.
That's the word.
Together we went for several years. I used to go with him to Mount Athos, to the Xenophonus monastery, where eventually the abbot became my pneumatikos, my spiritual guide or father.
Yes.
And at the end of, I think it was about 4 years, one day he told me, we think that you are ready to be baptized.
After 4 years, that's a lot of patience.
Yes, because they are the judges of your spiritual progress.
Yes.
I mean, it's not tourism. I didn't want to undertake, it was not a form of spiritual or religious tourism for me. It had to be a real return to the faith, a real return to God.
What do you have to tell to those people now? I mean, faith has disappeared from the European life. You as an Orthodox Christian, what is your view on the Western view of religion? Not just on Orthodoxy, but on religion. And what space do you think it should have? What space has it lost? What is your comment as a...
Basically, I think that on the surface it might look like if like if people have no faith at all. But in reality, and that was my reality too, people have embraced dozens of pseudo-faiths, pseudo-creeds, pseudo-religions. There's many of them. And in the case of my father, for instance, whereas at the beginning, when I was a very young child, he was a staunch Catholic, my mom too, because he was a psychiatrist, he became a member of this pseudo-creed, which is called psychoanalysis, Freudianism, which is a sect. It's a sect and it's a pseudo-faith. It's fake. And there's many of those. I think communism and socialism, etc., they're also pseudo-religious creeds or groups or sects.
Interesting.
And that is in basically the present condition. We all have spiritual needs. We all have a soul, and we have spiritual needs. And people are desperately seeking to fulfill their spiritual needs by adopting all these pseudo-creeds. After psychoanalysis have been many others, and they continue to create always new faiths because people's spiritual needs are not being fulfilled with these pseudo things. So they're always searching for something new, of which they hope it will eventually fulfill their needs.
Thank you so much.
The only one who can fulfill your need is God.
That's a great finish. Thank you so much. Really, I appreciate your time.